Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and furthermore welcome back to yet another exciting miniature review. Today we're taking a look at the Naga abomination from the folks over at Critical Role, and you can see this multi-headed giant serpent. Some of the faces actually look rather humanoid, which is kind of eerie. Now, looking at this, and being a Helluverse fan, something comes to mind.
Slamming it with the lower class plebs, unlike the rest of us. Right, Levy?
Oh, you wanna fucking go, ma'am? Oh, you wanna...
That's right. I want to turn this into Leviathan from the Helluverse. So, Leviathan, aka Levy, as Mammon calls her. I want to paint this in those colors. I think that's such a cool paint scheme. But you can see the box here, it has like a map on the back and some blue. There's like a white top, and then there's like a dark blue zigzag pattern. The Critical Role logo is also a dark blue. The back of it shows you the map again with like a light kind of cream color for the top, and then a image of the figure painted and a image of the figure primed. Expand your Critical Role miniatures high definition collection. For a complete list, visit whizkids.com/unpainted. Primed and paint ready out of the box, and then all that legal stuff. So, with all that being said, this pretty much wraps up the packaging. I'm gonna sling some paints, and to the best of my ability, try to mimic the color palette of Levy from the Helluverse. Alright, here is the Naga abomination, all put together and painted, and I think it turned out quite nicely. I love the sculpt of this thing, even without the Leviathan paint scheme that I've given it. The miniature itself is really quite cool. I wouldn't even mind buying another one of these Naga abominations to paint it how it was supposed to be painted. But that's the thing with these miniatures, right? You can paint them and make them however you want, and I decided to paint it to look like a terrifying demon of sin. So here is the Leviathan miniature, the Leviathan Naga abomination, if you will. And I think I did a pretty nice job of emulating the design of Leviathan from Season 2, Episode 11 of A Helluva Boss. I even painted the base of this thing to look like the molten lava-infused rock that makes up the courtroom of Satan, where we see Leviathan alongside the other sins. And I love how this thing turned out. I think the design of the Naga here really lends itself nicely to Leviathan, and there was a lot that really went into this. Obviously, I made it two-sided, which really reflects Envy as being two-faced, and even Leviathan in the show has two heads, and I'm really excited to see what Vivian and the folks over at Spindlehorse do with Leviathan, and even Belphegor as characters in Season 3 of Helluva Boss. But here is the Leviathan Naga abomination, and I really love this thing. I wanted to use the symbols that were on her bathing suit. If you look at her design, Leviathan has these kind of runes or fancy symbols on her bathing suit. Fish demon cleavage, which I had originally wanted to put on this figure somewhere, but given how busy the figure already is, I just decided against including it. But I did have an original idea to have those symbols be running down the snake body, similar to the diamond patterns on a diamondback rattlesnake, But, no biggie. I think the figure looks fine without those symbols. And I really like how well this turned out. Even these kind of mutated, weird, misshapen heads lend themselves nicely to Leviathan's design in the show. Like, I cannot compliment this thing enough. Even without the crazy paint job that I've given this thing, this figure as a whole is really detailed and looks super cool and badass. But with all that being said, I guess we'll compare it to the other licensed character I've created. This is the Venom Frog from Venom the Last Dance. This came in a Deep Cuts Giant Frogs 2-pack, so you can see the two licensed characters that I've painted, or, monsters that I've painted to look like specifically licensed characters. But, yeah. And with that being said, I guess we'll move into a proper size comparison segment. First up for comparison, here is the Naga Abomination next to a Aboleth, the Naga Abomination next to an Odiug, the Naga Abomination next to a Skeleton Horse, and finally the Naga Abomination next to the Venom Frog. All things considered, I really like how this miniature turned out. The Naga Abomination was perfect for a Leviathan-style paint job. The miniature itself lends itself nicely to that design and paint scheme, and I just think the miniature itself looks really, really cool. Now, obviously, you don't have to paint it the exact same way I did. You could very well just paint it the way it's intended to be painted, or do something cool like I did and paint it however you think looks awesome. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed my look at this Naga Abomination from the folks over at Critical Role. And with that, do take care, have a great night, and I'll see you in the next video.